Welcome back to another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Well, today, man, this morning, Tony Rizzo goes off on the Cleveland Browns ownership of Jimmy Haslem and Andrew Berry after watching Joe Flacco destroy the Pittsburgh Steelers last night. And Tony Rizzo went in. But we're going to unpack all that here next, here on the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Well, guys, man, I'm here to tell you, man, our boy Tony Rizzo, man, he has lit fire in the Cleveland Browns organization this morning after watching Joe Flacco last night beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 33-31. And Joe Flacco looked pretty good last night. And Tony Rizzo is basically letting people know that this organization is dysfunctional. And Mike Tomlin put it out there to you guys earlier in the week about Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslem. Why would you trade Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals, a in-rival divisional opponent that's lacking a quarterback when Joe Burrows went down, and you trade Joe Flacco to the Cincinnati Bengals for a fifth-round pick? And Tony Rizzo piggybacked off of that, and Tony Rizzo was real adamant early this morning on his radio show. And that goes to show you, man, that this organization really don't know what to do. And a lot of people talk about Kevin Stefanski and his evaluation over quarterbacks. And if you guys go back to training camp when Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, Shedeur Sanders, even Tyler Huntley was in the camp, they spent all this time with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett, giving them all the reps. And then, like a lot of people say, you wasted a lot of time because you trade Joe Flacco away and also you trade Kenny Pickett away, and you left with the two rookies. And now you got Bailey Zappi because they waived Tyler Huntley. He went back to the Baltimore Ravens. And now you got Deshaun Watson looking through the mirror, looking through the window, trying to get back in because he's now been cleared for football activities coming off the Achilles injury. But what Tony Rizzo is saying, that this organization screwed that quarterback situation up so bad, now they're trying to recover. And like we've always said, if your plans was to get rid of Joe Flacco, you should have gave all the reps to them rookies in training camp to get them up to speed. Now, the Cleveland Browns are sitting at 1-5. They have a rookie quarterback in Dylan Gabriel behind center, and the offense don't look no better than what it did when Joe Flacco was in there. But that goes to show you that the offensive play calling of Kevin Stefanski with the Cleveland Browns is just not working, because now you see Joe Flacco go over to the Cincinnati Bengals, been there 10 days. It has picked up the playbook, and you guys are spinning this narrative that Shedeur Sanders does not know Cleveland's playbook, and Joe Flacco knew Cleveland's playbook. Now he knows Cincinnati Bengals playbook. And last night, Joe Flacco was spectacular in that Thursday night football game. Joe Flacco threw the ball 47 times. Joe Flacco was 31 of 47 for 342 yards with 3 TDs. He was only sacked twice. And he won a thriller in Cincinnati, 33-31, after Aaron Rodgers threw the go-ahead touchdown to Freiermuth, and Joe Flacco got back on the field and drove him down to get the game-winning field goal on a smart play by T. Higgins where Joe Flacco lost that ball to T. Higgins and T. Higgins slid to run time off because Pittsburgh didn't have no more timeouts. And Joe Flacco balled out. And Tony Rizzo just let the ownership have it. But before we get off into that, we partnered up with Underdog Fantasy, and this is a word from our sponsor.
Underdog Fantasy is the best way to play fantasy sports. Let me tell you about the easiest way to get in on some WNBA and NBA action. Find your player, pick higher or lower, win you some extra cash. Pick between 2 to 5 players to fill out your pick'em entry, get every pick right, and win some serious cash. Use my promo code SBD23 and receive up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Now that it's football time, follow Simply Ball Dropping as I share my picks. Like I said, pick your player, choose your amount, win money. Make picks, win cash. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for the partnership with us, and thank you for using promo code SBD23 on Underdog Fantasy.
Now, guys, with that being said, man, let's listen to what Tony Rizzo had to say and how he destroyed the ownership of the Cleveland Browns with Jimmy Haslem and Andrew Berry. Let's take a listen.
You do that, Andrew? How could you do it? Why on earth did you feel the need to trade this guy to a division opponent for a 5th-round draft pick? Fireable offense. That is a fireable offense. I want to know how much longer the owner's going to watch this crap, because the fans have had it. We deserve better. You're worried more about your stadium than you are your football team. That's the perception, Jimmy. And you allow these people to do this. You have the worst offense in the league. Your GM screwed this quarterback thing up like I've never seen in my life. I've never seen anything like it. Kids that play Madden could have done a better job. Truly, that's not hyperbole. It's a joke. It's a joke. This franchise has become a joke.
Now, you heard what Rizzo had to say, man. Rizzo is real adamant about Andrew Berry's decision to get rid of Joe Flacco. But I don't even think it's about his decision of getting rid of Flacco. I think the point is, because Mike Tomlin pointed it out, you trade him into the division, to a division opponent. And I think that's what everybody is up in arms about. Because if Joe Flacco was traded to any other team outside of the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't think this would have been an issue, because you got to sit here and watch Joe Flacco play within the division. And Joe Flacco in the last 2 weeks has performed for the Cincinnati Bengals, giving him the weapons of T. Higgins and also Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase caught the ball 17 times last night. He was targeted 21 times last night. And that's the means of a quarterback getting into his big time play making receivers. And see, Cleveland Browns do not have that, because they have one playmaker in Jerry Jeudy, but Jerry Jeudy is not getting the ball. And I've told y'all in plenty of shows that the quarterback position with Dylan Gabriel now, he's not able to get the ball down to the big playmakers in Jerry Jeudy. And even though Jerry Jeudy has a lot of drops, but Jerry Jeudy is their deep threat, and they're not pushing the ball down the field. So in this sense, Rizzo is saying you traded Joe Flacco away to a divisional opponent, but you screwed the quarterback situation up. See, we wouldn't be here if they would have just gave the keys and concentrated on them rookies early in training camp instead of wasting their time with Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett with all the reps, knowing that they was going to flush these guys out the door. And I've always told you, you have to give the keys to these rookies to see what they got, to see what your franchise is going to look like. So now this is going to be at the expense of Kevin Stefanski and maybe Andrew Berry. Jimmy Haslem has to take a close look at this situation, because this is going to spiral out of control and somebody's job is going to be on the line. They should have got this quarterback situation right in training camp, like we always been advocating for. Shedeur Sanders is a first-round, second-round talent in the NFL. He should have been given the keys to the Cleveland Browns from the start, because if you go back and look at the pro day when Mary Kay Cabot was in Colorado, all the Cleveland, Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslem was out there to see Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. knowing they wasn't going to get Travis, knowing they needed a quarterback, and they was out there to watch Shedeur. And you tell me they haven't gave the keys to Shedeur Sanders yet? The keys should have been given to Shedeur Sanders. If Shedeur Sanders would have had the keys from the start and they would have focused on him and picked him the way they were supposed to pick him early in the draft, we wouldn't be talking about it today, because Shedeur Sanders would already be comfortable behind center making noise for the Cleveland Browns. But like Tony Rizzo said, the owners have screwed this quarterback situation up from the jump. I see everybody in the comments section, #salute. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. Oh yeah, just in case I forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. Catch you on the next one. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.